Well, Stevie, thanks for joining us. A little bit different from the last time we met, but yeah, how would you sum up the last couple of months? It's been very strange, hasn't it?
It has, Stephen. You know, even finding ourselves out here doing an interview, different surroundings. It's where we find ourselves with this, you know, pandemic that the world's been facing, not just ourselves. And it's been a very strange last 3 months since the cancellation of the Dundee game.
It seems like a lifetime ago, our final game against Partick Thistle, what proved to be the final game of the season. What were your feelings with the season coming to the end? It was inevitable, but there's always a tinge of disappointment that we didn't get the chance to push on.
No, I think, you know, we went 6 out of 6 games. We'd lost one to Inverness, 6-7 games, the last 6-7 games. On that night, I felt we were harshly done with a couple of decisions, so we were in a decent bit of form, and you know, we're looking forward to the end of the season and the remaining 8 games to try and push for that playoff position. As I say, things are taking out your hand, and you know, we were facing other problems after that, but as I say, the season getting cut short when we just started getting a little bit of momentum after the January signings coming in, it was frustrating.
It was a roller coaster season. It was, as ever, as a Dunfermline fan, it's never easy, and as a Dunfermline manager, I'm sure you're the same. What were your highs looking back over the season? I'm thinking, you know, the Celtic game at Parkhead in particular.
Yeah, I think when you look back this time last year, we'd taken a different approach. We were looking at different transfer targets, players with potential to come in and do well and possibly sail on. And you know, Ross and the board, we had to make sure that we cut the playing budget to tidy things up that end. So as I say, we knew it was going to be a bumpy road and roller coaster ride throughout the season. The League Cup campaign, I thought, other than the disappointing result at Edinburgh City, I thought it was very positive. The boys scored a number of goals in the early parts of that route, and then a great performance through at Celtic Park. Other performances throughout the season, when we hadn't put enough points on the board in the early parts of the first quarter of the season, Partick Thistle away was a great result. The games against Dundee I thought were very exciting, good adverts for the Championship football. And Dundee United, obviously, you know, the last game we played them here was a really good performance, and something that we've got to look to build on next year.
There were highs, there were also lows as well, you know, Stranraer in the Scottish Cup, so I guess, you know, for you as well, it's all part of the learning curve, and hopefully learning from those things that didn't go so well and changing them in time for next season. Yeah,
listen, I've done a lot of reflection myself and things what I could possibly do better, and I'm a great believer that you've also got to move on. But when I look back at the Stranraer game, you know, I sort of compare it a little bit to the Partick Thistle game, where there was an overload in the midfield in the Partick game, where we ended up drawing that last one. Stranraer game, it wasn't quite going right for us. The conditions, the pitch was heavy. Should have changed it to play 3 at the back and given ourselves still playing 2 strikers, yes. But it's easy in hindsight saying these things, and as I say, it's not just asking players to learn and move on, it's also looking at us as a coaching staff and me as a manager to try and progress and make sure that these things don't happen in the future.
And you know, that's just the football side of it, but you know, all the other challenges, you know, the obviously the pandemic, we had the sad news about Jackie McNamara falling on, well, other illnesses within the club. It's been a tough 18 months. You've been in charge here at Dunfermline.
It has, and it was slightly different last season at this time. You know, a lot of players moved on. We thanked them, gave them our best wishes, but we decided to go in a different direction. But as you say, there's things that you face, and pro licences don't teach you these things, and earning your coaching badges. And I'm thankful that I've got good people, starting with the chairman. You know, he's great in terms of his experience, what he passes on to me. But even dealing with, I think after January, you know, it was very upsetting for not just the players but for the coaching staff with what happened with Jackie. And thankfully he's making a full recovery, and you know, he's a great person, a lot of feeling for the club, and somebody I lean on, you know, consistently. We then had to deal with a mumps outbreak which we tried to keep under wraps because we didn't want any of the other teams in the division getting slight advantage in hearing that. So on top of that, the fixtures were sort of stop-start as well, and these are things that you face, and is there a right or wrong answer how to cope with these things? And as I say, that was a pleasing thing, that in the last 7 games, I felt that we had matured a little bit as a team in games that we possibly could have dropped points in or lost games, and again that's something that we look to build on next year.
Let's have a talk about something positive. The Player of the Year awards were slightly different. I think I hosted it on my balcony this year. Kevin Nisbet was the Player of the Year and Lewis McCann Young Player of the Year. Thoughts on both those guys?
Listen, it's great that Lewis, and he'll be frustrated because he probably would have wanted more game time, but that's what I want from my players. He's an exciting prospect. He's come through the Fife Elite. The coaches, Bill Hendry, and the coaches at Fife Elite should be proud of the players. We've got Matty Todd, young Miller Fenton's just signed at 16 years of age, who are all going to hopefully with hard work have a good future ahead of them. Kevin Nisbet, we'd went and watched him several times last season, and to be honest, he hadn't really caught the eye in terms of his link-up play and his touch. I think he's got great vision, he opens up the game, but he scored goals in the games, and it was somebody that we felt that having scored the amount of goals that he did would deserve the chance to try and help us as well, and he's deserving of the award. He'll be the first person, I think, to admit though, and thank his teammates that these guys put a lot of chances in his direction, and as all good goal scorers do, he hit 20 odd goals this season, so long may that continue.
Obviously he had a terrific season in terms of goal scoring. That has attracted interest. It attracted interest in January. Over the past few days it's been in the media as well. It's not obviously ideal, but with good players comes the chance of people moving on to different things. What's your thoughts on that? Obviously you'd love to keep it.
Well, first and foremost we'd love to keep Kevin, but good players attract attention, and then it comes down to a decision that if the teams are interested, they've got to come to an agreement with Dunfermline, and the chairman on record has said that until there's a price met and evaluations met, then Kevin will remain a Dunfermline player, which excites me. But as I say, you never know what's ahead of you. I've enjoyed working with Kevin. I think he's enjoyed his football at East End, and as I say, until that changes and an offer's put our way that we can't refuse, then Kevin will remain a Dunfermline player. You
mentioned obviously we decided to go a different way last summer and bring in younger players with trying to sell them on, so I guess that's the downside of going through that.
Yeah, I think we've got to watch, Stephen, because if you're selling that as the dream, then there comes a point that players aren't silly, and we're going to want to attract players again in the summer, and if they do well for us and manage to take us places, get us into playoffs, hopefully out this league, there comes a point when you're going to lose them if teams are going to be interested. So as I say, Kevin's deserving of the attention. You just got to remember that it is a team game, and I think that's why he's improved, and as the season progressed you can see a difference in him and his team play and his attitude. He trains hard, and he can see that he's going to have a bright future in the game. As I say, he's just got to make sure that he doesn't get disillusioned with paper talk and things that are on social media, and make sure he concentrates on a day at a time.
One thing that has always been true at Dunfermline is the fans in the time of need at the club have stepped up, and they've done it again, raised over £50,000. The fans' support is always vital, but in these times it's even more so.
No, listen, again, the club, I think 7-8 years ago, found itself in a difficult place. The fans have played a massive part in that. I know through discussions with Ross that the fans put their hands in their pockets then. It was greatly appreciated, as did the board and the directors, and again they've done it within a couple of weeks. I think we had a target of over £40,000 in the Support the Pars campaign, and at times like this, when it's hard, when people are worrying about their own jobs, what they'll be earning, it's a massive thank you from me personally, but also from, I know, the chairman and the board, the directors, because without them we wouldn't be here.
In terms of the players who have left, obviously there was quite a few that had their contracts up at the end of the season and they weren't extended. What were your thoughts on that, and have you got a message to the players who did leave?
The players, first of all, I'd like to thank every one of them for their efforts. Some were here longer than others, but I think 17 of them found themselves out of contract, and I'd like to thank every single one of them for their efforts that they've done when they worked and played for Dunfermline Football Club. There was a big turnover of players last season, which, as I say, was the way we decided we wanted to go as a club. This year, there's been the impact with the pandemic, and we find ourselves that to protect the club, we felt we were in a situation that we couldn't offer any more contracts or extend contracts. As I say, we could go ifs, buts and maybes. If we had finished in the playoffs, does that mean that we would earn more money through our league placing where contracts could have been offered? And you can end up talking about things that haven't happened. So as I say, I'm a positive person. It wasn't nice. I had several conversations with the chairman, because in the current predicament we find ourselves in, it's never nice releasing a player at any time. So there was no pleasure in it. I felt we'd done it in the best manner possible, to the means that we could. I had to do it over the phone, which again, it's not the way I am as a person. I would have preferred to do it face to face, but I felt it was right to talk to all 17 players in the one day, and as I say, the players took it. Some were they would have been all disappointed, and rightly so, but I just wish them all the best for their futures.
And I guess you touched on it there, there's players, managers will come and go, but the most important thing is that this club is still here in 50, 100 years time.
There's nobody bigger than the club, and Ross has said, and he's been on record saying he's got to protect what's right for the club. And there's players that are under contract, there's the admin staff, there's ground staff, there's coaching staff here that are under contracts, and Ross is duty bound to look after that. And unfortunately, players find themselves out of contract at a time when we've been thrown this problem that nobody asked for, and that's what life does. It throws its problems at you, and you just have to get up and get on with it and face what's thrown at you.